And without further ado, we bring you guys the finals of this edition of the Semi-Pro Cup Series on Sunday, as we have Water, Dignitas, aka Soup, in the finals. As always, Nizcast, aka at Nizcast, will be joining me to provide you guys insight both in the draft and the game, and about Dota itself. Niz, are you excited for this tournament to come to a close as these players fight for the right to be called champion?
Oh my god, I thought you were going to say I was waiting for it, but it didn't happen. So, I'm excited, but we have two teams squaring off, and one is Soup and one is Water. And I just realized how hungry that makes me.
Well, here's my question is, if we're going off of team names, does Soup beat Water because Soup consists of water? Or does Water beat Soup because Soup needs water?
Well, Water wins because I drink a whole bunch of water every day, and I don't really like Soup all that much. Like, Soup's okay. But it's not water, you know?
It's not liquid. I was about to say courage, but that's not what water is at all. As Brewmaster is the embodiment of liquid courage. Of course, Raptor... It does, actually. Viper's poisons also consist of water, as of course he does need H2O to create the biological processes to make his venoms. But we're not entirely sure here, guys, what the consistency of H2O to venom is for Viper. Wraith King, not filled with any water. Actually, I lie, because he's not Skeleton King anymore. He's 70% water, because he's a human being now. So, we'll keep with this water theme as the draft goes on, guys. Hopefully we'll get Tidehunter or Kunkka, because those will definitely give us lots of water to talk about. And shots fired.
Sorry, Goofy's talking crap in Twitch, so I had to put him in his place.
Well, I'm putting on shades. Those shots fired were so hot and painful, as I do have sunglasses on for the rest of this cast. No, I'm just kidding. As Doom will be picked up here, opposite of Water, as he is fire, death, and hell. And actually he embodies multiple kinds of sin, as he also has the Devour, which allows him to get lots of money.
Radiant team banned.
Lucifer.
Veno getting banned out. What is this?
Veno's getting a lot of respect these days, Niz.
Should I come back?
I guess so, dude. This is your sign.
Alright, Goofy, get in here. I'm going back to playing.
We're taking over.
Casting days are over. Veno's now back in the meta.
And Dota Raptors will be playing mid, as Goofy will be supporting with Nizcast, as I know that that's exactly what Goofy loves to do. Is play that support role.
Goofy and I would be the best support duo ever.
It would be terrifying. It would basically be like Beavis and Butthead.
Dire team banned.
I could just see it now, Goofy and I ganking mid and it failing miserably over and over again.
But that's okay, because you guys don't win games by ganking mid. You guys are better than that. You guys are next level supports.
You didn't see the first 15 minutes of that Sand King game I was talking about earlier. Oh my goodness. I actually died jungling. I just want to put that out there.
Well, guys, trust Niz's analysis, as he has just ruined his ethos for the rest of this game. But just kidding. As we are getting into the later portions of this draft, it is getting a little bit more serious. As of course we have the second banning phase ending up really... Yeah, Necro getting banned out, as Water was definitely watching that last game. And, you know, why not? When you're sitting in finals, that's when we've had this conversation before, Niz. There's one side of the coin. You could be the team that wants to continue playing and have the momentum of coming off the win, or you're Water, who just watched that game and watched what they did to win that game. So... And again, you're the one, you've talked to me about this. You prefer being the one who just played rather than the one who waited.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely hate waiting, and I find there's always one person on the team, at least one person on the team, that just like they need a game to get situated and get in their groove and get feeling comfortable. And sometimes that like hour off, while you wait for other teams to catch up to you in the bracket, just unfortunately just kind of sets a teammate off or whatever, and they just have to their head's not in the game immediately when they get into that next game. So it may take them 5-10 minutes, but Sometimes that's the most important point of the game anyways.
We'll tell that to Vici Gaming. Or not Vici Gaming, sorry. Newbie, as they were able to win the International. From the waiting seat Niz. Obviously, you're wrong!
10
As Witch Doctor and
seconds
Rubik are
remaining.
picked up and shots fired back at Niz as me and Goofy are going to gang up on
5
Niz
seconds
and
remaining.
guarantee the destruction of Niz's ethos.
I don't like this.
Reserve time.
But yeah, more seriously though, as this draft is getting very close to the end now, which side are you liking more right now? I think both have a lot of tools, but which side would you rather be on, or at least be drafting for right now?
I don't like Brewmaster and I don't like Doom.
Okay, so 1 for 1. We're even right now.
Overall, though, I'm gonna have to side with the Viper Doom Witch Doctor. I think. Oh, crap.
Dire team pick.
We've got the Phantasy on the Visage now.
And that's definitely a
He
strong
didn't really
pick.
do a ton of work last game, but he had an impact. Like, he didn't run away with the game, but he definitely had a strong impact. There was moments where he was pushing one lane while his birds were off pushing somewhere else, while the enemy team was trying to push that third lane. And he was pushing, tier 2 towers and tier
10
3
seconds
towers,
remaining.
while the other team was, just kind of dancing around outside the base.
5 seconds
So,
remaining.
if he can do that again, he can put a lot of pressure on the map. But you have to get to that
Reserve
point.
time.
And even his early game was strong, even though that they were kind of falling apart. But I don't.
Reserve time.
Naga Siren.
Well, if this game could make us stay up all night, it has one of the heroes that could do that for us.
If this game gets past 60 minutes, I'm just leaving. Okay.
All right, well, guys, you've
That's
heard
it.
it first. I want chat confirmation that all of you guys have heard this. If this game goes past 60, if this game goes past 50 seconds, then you guys should remove Niz.
We don't even know what we're saying anymore.
Oh, I just said path instead of pass. And welcome to the stream, guys. We have multiple people coming in right as I sounded like a complete idiot. The band last one for Soup is going to be Ember Spirits, and the last band for Water is yet to be seen. But with a Naga Siren, what are you thinking they're most afraid of? Something like a Tidehunter who's still in the pool, or
10 seconds remaining.
is there other off-lane heroes that are more threatening to you?
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, Tinker's still around. It's really greedy, but Tinker's still around.
Reserve time.
That's too super greedy. There's no way you can pick Tinker. I think-
Radiant team pick.
Okay. Um,
Dire team pick.
why does everyone like Undying now? I haven't
Because-
even seen Undying
Because
do a lot.
Niz,
in
Niz,
teams.
there are 3 things about Undying you need to know. Okay? 1, he's undying. Okay? And if you can't die, then you're automatically at an advantage.
Have you played Undying before?
Yes, you don't
You
die.
don't have farm and I hear you die.
No, you don't die because you get farm, because you kill things. Second thing you need to know about Undying, he has really fucking sharp teeth. And the final thing that you need to know about him is Soul Rip is a mechanism at level 2. Just saying.
I don't know.
One of those 3 points was actually pertinent to the game. I'll let you guys decide which one is the most impactful to the outcome of this game. But yeah, Lone Druid I think is the most interesting pickup. The fact that Ritsu is going to be picking up in the mid lane is going to be also very interesting. And we'll continue with the trend as I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Radiant side. And without further ado,
Battle.
so this cast can try to get somewhat more entertaining than our chat, as DGLOL seems like the chat. But I like my voice, guys, because I'm egotistical. Anyways, we have, of course, Soup on the Radiant side for them. The captain, Derp, going to be picking up the support Rubik. We have Ritsu, going to be picking up that mid Lone Druid. We have the Wraith King being picked up by Mad Dog, which means it's most likely going to be a core. Fan of Sonian picking up that Visage as the support. And then, of course, finally, that leaves Yugi, the Master of Death and the Master of Comeback, on that Brewmaster once again.
Alright, on this dire side, we have Water. Playing the Witch Doctor is Bren. Playing the Naga Siren, which is Moo. Playing the Undying is the D2 Sheriff. Playing Doom is Ohm. And playing the Viper is Michael. Do you want to point out that this Naga is not support, like chat was predicting?
It is not a support Naga.
Is it?
It is not at all. I don't think it will be. I mean, it is middle lane. But the most interesting thing is Niz. We've seen interesting heroes take farm in these tri-lanes. What is the chance that Doom plays a support this game?
It's possible, and it was something that was rising in popularity a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of.
It's very greedy.
Yeah, definitely very greedy. But I mean, look at the items on these heroes when they go in the aggro tri-lane. They just load it up on items.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't even pull the Naga. Naga's just going straight for a bottle rush.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when I do go mid and I get pooled, and of course this isn't in competitive games because I've never played mid competitively at this level, but what I've noticed is, yeah, one tango. You don't really ever use more than one tango, especially when you're this much of a bottle rush, because
yeah, I'll agree with that.
she only needs one Riptide to get the bottle. Really, maybe two if she's really quick and doesn't take forever to get that second last hit. Then yeah, you can get it in two really quickly. But and the game has officially started. As this game will move on, smoke up from the tri-lane as they wanted to get in a good position to get these wards up, and now they're in a definitely a good position to set up for this gank on Michael. The question is, Michael, is he going to be aware of it in time, and is he going to get away if it's executed on him? We'll see momentarily. Is pull from Spirit Bear going to take advantage of the fact that he knows it's an aggressive try? As again, Niz, third time today, third game where we've seen tri-lanes dodging tri-lanes.
Yeah, they're just doing a good job of reading what the other team's doing. The problem is well, actually, I think this is okay. I think they may actually... Doom's going into the jungle, and I think he may actually just sit in the jungle. And they may farm up the Undying. That's really greedy, but I think they can pull it off. The problem is their Naga is going to be incredibly vulnerable in this middle lane. To any rotations. As we see, there's actually a rotation coming down right now. As if this courier gets sniped, this could be huge.
It might get sniped on the way back, but it looks like Moo is on top of this, is going to run it back under the T2 tower. Derp would most likely have to sacrifice himself if they were going to. No, they can't. They can see the courier, but he can't see them there. And actually, the setup is going to be first dive for Ritsu. 3 heroes in the bottom lane under the tower. There goes the Tombstone and the Cask. However, the Cask doesn't bounce because of good Bear Micro. And now D2 Sheriff is going to block out Ritsu's movement, and Ritsu is caught between 3 different heroes, and they should just all chase as Ritsu's trying to eat through cheese to juke away, but it's not enough. D2 Sheriff scores the first blood of this Sunday's edition of the Semi-Pro Cup Series, putting his team Water one step closer to taking the $100 first place prize.
Yeah, while that was going on, Moo was actually sending the courier back, and Fanasoyan actually rotated around behind to try to cut the courier off, but he... Lane.
Yeah, middle lane. Not much action is. Looks like haste. Oh no, haste room from Sanasonia, and it looks like this courier is going to get sniped here. Question is the bottle going to be on it when it gets sniped? It doesn't look like it. Oh, actually, he uses it. Tries to get the snipe while the courier is running under the tower. It will finally go down. Moo doesn't have a net, and definitely somewhat worth it. But while that was going on, Water also secures a bottom T1 tower, so that negates the courier death in the gold, but what it doesn't negate is Moo's bottle crowing, and that's the biggest impact. And I think that for most mid heroes, you'd be saying right now, whatever, he still has his bottle, he'll be all right. But with a Naga, bottle crowing makes a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely! It's what the hero relies on. You lose your bottle, and this hero loses so much of his strength.
Not at all. They ain't stopping this train, Niz.
Uh-oh. Top.
Actually, yeah, they're going to dive onto Michael. He is taking quite a bit of damage. 2 points in Corrosive Skin are helping stall a lot of this up. Right clicks are going out. The stun does come out from Mad Dog, and doesn't look like he should fall to these tower hits and Corrosive Skin ticks, but a good trade for them is they have lost their tower. They have gotten that courier. But the game is definitely not in an advantageous state for them. It is definitely in a water favor right now.
This mid lane is so favored right now. Yugi getting low and Mu getting low as well, but neither hero's going to die there.
But Mu is already 10 CS behind.
Yep.
And I think it's mainly because that courier snipe. He just can't play
sure.
aggressive as he wants to.
He has to go back to Fountain right now.
Yeah. Looks like he is going to...
no way to replenish.
I bet you that circlet indicates he's going to go for that drums before Radiance build, which seems to be a little bit more popular these days, instead of going straight for that Radiance. But actually in the bottom lane, Ritsu is going to do, again, good bear micro, not taking an extra bounce from that cask. And now maybe the turnaround onto Brendan Sheriff. But I don't think they can actually turn this around. They will just be able to stall up this push. And they were able to get that bottom tower, the T1, but they haven't been able to get this T2 yet, and they really haven't even done that much damage. So good job so far from Soup to stall up this bottom lane momentum that was building.
Bottom is missing.
Yugi even managed to bottle a regen rune. I feel sorry for Mu in this situation right now. It's just, he's so far behind. Yugi's able to dive the tower just to deal a little bit of harass damage because he knows he has a huge...
Well, he actually might get turned around on
goodness,
enough to get killed here, as we do have one right click. 2, might be able to get the third one off, as the Riptide is going to be coming off cooldown in a second, but not enough mana. Does come off cooldown now, might turn into this, but Mu might be the one in trouble now, is getting chased down by Yugi. Right click tower, and the Fade Bolt with the Rubik roaming in, but Derp not able to get the right click off that he needed. Neither was Yugi. Naga Siren will get away with under 10 HP, bottles up to over 300. As this game does continue to move on in a relatively, not too action-packed, but definitely some action here and there.
I mean, both teams are kind of moving around, but not really getting much done.
Oh, actually, Derp might be in trouble here as D2 Sheriff and Brand are going to catch him out. They do have that tombstone. And of course, I was just going to point out Derp doesn't have boots, and with that zombie slow, he is guaranteed to fall. Might fall as well, though, as he gets caught out on the wrong side of that set of trees. Easily cleaned up.
Yeah, he was tunnel visioning that kill so hard. He was just focusing on eating through the trees, and he was standing right where there was a TP coming in. Just basically threw his life away. Like I was saying, both teams are kind of moving around. I said not really getting a lot done, but they are getting a lot done. They're just kind of covering each other. So it looks like neither is getting anything done.
Yeah, it makes it look relatively even, and when we go to the golden experience graphs, it's not too big of a difference, which definitely indicates that this game is evenly matched as it stands. But many things could change that as it goes forward, of course.
Water definitely went with a more greedy lineup, and it's starting to show, you know, as they get more gold and XP on the map, even with Naga not, you know, getting the ideal start, as Michael's in trouble.
Yeah, he is going to get a not dove, but taking quite a bit of damage under in his jungle by that Brewmaster, multiple heroes from the Radiant. But Niz, I want to prompt a question to you here, my friend. Lone Druid. Personally, I love the hero. I think he has a lot of potential, but he is starving right now, 6 minutes and 36 seconds into this game. What is your opinion of on this hero, given the state of the game that it is for him?
Sorry, I missed which hero were you referring to?
Lone Druid.
Lone Druid.
Not a good state of game for him, but in this current state, like, how do you feel about this hero and his potential?
I'll answer that in a second, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get some activity.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroes posturing around, and yeah, it is going to finally be the sun going on to Michael up in the northern side of this area. As on the high ground, he does get lifted back, and now the stun comes out from Bryn. Only bounces on to Mad Dog, no follow-up bounces, as he is going to get chased out. Ohm is here as well. Dire having more bodies in this area. They will pop the ultimate from Wraith King, and there goes the counter initiation from Yugi as he blinks in. D2 Sheriff taking a ton of damage, but Mu will get that song off, so they will be able to isolate the Brewmaster spirits here. And of course, these zombies will stack up during the song, and now there's a ton of zombies fighting right now as the cast does bounce through. Michael dropping low, but they might not be able to finish him before everyone dies. Derp does go down, and so does the Viper, but now Yugi is caught between 3 Dire heroes, and he's probably going to fall as Doom is thrown up on him. Met is there from the Naga Siren. Right clicks are coming from her as well as the teammates behind her, as it looks like Doom will be able to clean up this kill with the tick damage from Doom. But Niz, so that fight, what do you think? And then of course Lone Druid, what do you think about him so far in this game?
Sleep plus Tombstone's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's been a while since I've seen that combo run. I actually completely forgot about it in the draft. But yeah, that combo is incredibly strong. Just gotta buy time for that Tombstone to do work.
attack.
and it did. The only downside is that the Naga's kind of fallen a little bit behind in terms of levels. Obviously, that fight really helped her out and actually got her on par with the Brewmaster. But you want to see her getting closer and closer to 11 because it's almost painful to use the ultimate at 6.
Michael in the top lane is going to get dove under his tower. He does actually run under the trees, and actually Yugi in a great position. However, the trees are eaten by Michael, and he might be able to live here. He does throw out the Viper Strike TP from Sheriff, as Sheriff is able to clean up. Fan of Sonya and does drop the tombstone now, looking to try to solo up Yugi. Yugi doesn't have that split for another 45 seconds to blink forward, but Ohm is in the area, salving up so he can potentially help here. Creeps are chasing along with those zombies. Now the crit onto Ohm, and now actually Yugi is going to get a double kill out of this. Maybe Sheriff will get a double kill as well. And Niz, you're probably never going to get to talk about Lone Druid, but who do you think that fight favored? Because it was 2 kills onto Undying, but also 2 kills onto the Brewmaster.
I think it favored Dignitas. And
Okay.
you ended up with a kill on Naga, which is always important. You ended up a kill on another core in the Doom. All the while you have your Lone Druid, he's not a hero on the map right now. And that's actually what you want. You know, he had a bad start. So if he's just staying quiet and no one's touching him and he's just doing his thing, he's getting back in the game. And that's exactly what he's doing. And his gold per minute is starting to explode. He's already up to 4th at 348 gold per minute, 351 now. Like, he's just catching up to everyone. He's almost on par with the Wraith King, which is nothing special. But he's almost up to and tied with the Doom, which is the highest gold earner on water. So I mean, we thought this hero was way out of the game, but 5 minutes of being completely left alone, and he shows how fast he can jungle and how much gold he can acquire, and get himself right back in the game. Yes, he requires a lot more gold than a lot of heroes to be really useful, but he's starting to earn it at an acceptable rate to get him back.
Bryn in the bottom lane. It looks like Brewmaster Yugi, that is going to use the split to try to get a solo kill on the Brewmaster, but that heal. 3 points up into it. There's a low chance that Brent shall actually go down. Yugi going to continue this chase here. He's going to need a crit. There's the stun from the cask. Still continuing to chase Bryn, but it looks like Yugi is going to TP out as he's not able to get that kill. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Doom does get used by Derp attempting the steal, but does get the Scorched Earth. Not too effective here as it looks like. Maybe Doom might fall down, dropping down to 70 HP, down to 40. Does live. The birds are chasing, but he's not going to die as he does get that haste. And of course, Moo popping that song will be able to get away. Rubik not able to steal as of course mirror image is used afterwards. A little bit of an exchange there, but actually no, the exchange isn't over. As Yugi is back into the middle lane, going on to Mood, blinking in, clapping, chases out as Derpter wants to continue and get this kill with Yugi, but Moo able to escape. And while this is going on, D2 Sheriff and Michael are doing their own work into the bottom lane, or into the top lane to push this tower. They did TP in, Mad Dog like Niz said, but I don't think Mad Dog is going to be able to defend this tower. Ritsu is trying to trade in the bottom lane, but it's just not going to happen. And actually, the cask plus the Death Ward dealing quite a bit of damage to the to the Lone Druid. Entangle does go up onto Sheriff, but they don't have any stun to stop this teleport, so Lone Druid will get out alive. And Niz, take the mic away from me for a second, buddy, as that was quite a bit of action back and forth, and kind of curious as to who you think came out ahead after all that.
Well, there's definitely stuff happening all over the map. You have to give a slight advantage to Water, as obviously they acquired a tower and were able to defend the counter push, I guess, that was going on in the bottom lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As I'm thinking, no, okay. I was thinking there was potentially going to be some action in the top lane, or in the around top rune, but there wasn't. But once again, like, even if you're drawing even, I think the advantage still has to go to Dignitas. Because, like, you just have this Lone Druid, and he's just doing his thing. And he's good at the hero, because when he was bottom and his bear was swinging away at things, he was getting entangles. So it's just how you know whether someone's good at Lone Druid or not.
Well,
but
he's proving Dota isn't pay to win, as he has no cosmetics to get those druids.
it's weird seeing someone with the actual normal bear.
Yeah,
Yugi
exactly.
jumping in on the mid lane, trying to put pressure on Moo. He will get stunned up and entangled. He uses the split.
Supports are there as well as they want to come in and help clean up D2 Sheriff. The question is, will they be able to get a turnaround kill after this tombstone has been spawning zombies nonstop? Moo coming in, derp dropping low. Does, of course, steal that ultimate, but will it be enough for him to get away as Moo is chasing the stun? Is there Doom out onto Yugi as he does reassemble behind that T1, but Moo will fall, losing quite a bit of gold. Does buy up that recipe for the drums beforehand, but now Michael is back into this fight, wants to try to get some turnaround kills as Fan of Sonian will be cleaned up. Mad Dog getting body blocked up here by Ohm. Great plays by him. Now also using the spirits, or sorry, the illusions to help as well. They will, of course, pop that Aegis here, and the question now becomes, can they clean him up again? It looks like they want to, but he is able to blink away before they get any damage on him. Definitely looking like a slightly Soup favorite exchange because they killed the Naga, and of course, like you said, this Lone Druid. I was trying to ask you, a long time ago before, what do you think about this Lone Druid? He has no farm, the state of the game not going well for him, but, double the time on the clock. Dude's got a Midas. He's got himself 7 times the number of last hits he has, and 1,800 gold in his back pocket to boot.
He's almost the top gold earner in the game. He's getting real close to the Doom. But I wanted to point out, you mentioned that the Naga was most likely going to be going for the drums build. Go drums before Radiance. And he definitely did that. And what a good choice that was this game. 1, 2, and 3. He has died 2 times. And that's with going
top
drums.
lane might go down as there is a TP though, so he won't. No disables there to stop that.
Can you imagine if he didn't go drums this game? He would have probably died in extra time, and he'd be so far away from his relic.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you think Lone Druid's going relic based on his current gold in the pocket and farming pace?
I think so.
Do you think that's the right decision? Would you prefer a Maelstrom build in this situation and more of a fight-orientated build, or do you think they could get a lot out of that Radiance Bear?
To be honest, I'm not too much of a Lone Druid expert, but I think you still go Radiance this game because you need something to contest with Naga's ability to push all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
However, like I said, I don't know a ton about it, whether or not that actually pans out well for you.
Right. It's definitely a little bit up in the air. You guys in chat can, of course, decide that question for yourself. Too bad we don't have straw polls, something that Dota Raptors will work on in the future. But Water rotating into the middle lane with 4 heroes. Moo leading the charge, Sheriff right behind him, and it looks like Mad Dog might be the primary target here. But it doesn't look like they're going to do anything off of it right now. They just want to continue to farm, get items up that are critical. Michael, of course, has that mechanism. Building up into what looks like to be a Shiva's Guard and a casual point booster. And hits level 11.
Both teams are just kind of chipping away. They both seem relatively comfortable with how the game is progressing right now. There hasn't been any real big moves.
Yugi might try to sneak around here, and if he does, he could easily get caught out here by the Viper and the Doom. We'll see if he moves out of these trees. But meanwhile, middle lane, Moo trying to get that DD rune, does get stolen up by Mad Dog. Stun goes out by him. But Moo is able to walk away, throw out that mirror image, and continue to apply pressure and farm at the same time.
Moo is still just about to hit level 10, so not quite at level 2 ultimate, but getting there, 1 level away.
And that's probably the most important level for Naga, because of the difference in cooldown it makes in the song. Maybe level 16 is slightly more important, but I think they're relatively equally important.
There's no other too big item pickups yet. Lone Druid's at 3,600, so it definitely looks like he's going relic.
Yeah, unless he's building a DR.
I don't think we're going to see that this game.
DR first on Bear. And here we go is the initiation. Moo, yeah, it does pop that song. We'll see what they can do with this initiation. Tombstone down as well, and here's the prep, here's the fight, the blink away from the Wraith King, the split from the Brewmaster, as it looks like all 5 of the Dire Heroes are just going to focus down this split, and I don't think this is an entirely poor decision, because they've already gotten the other 2 spirits, and that was a waste of split coming out of Yugi, as he absolutely gets eviscerated by the Dire side, and they can continue to push off of this, but they did use Song. They did use Tombstone, and they did use, of course, that Flesh Golem and Viper Strike, but they have Witch Doctor Ultimate and Doom still online, so they do have some threat to their team fight. But it looks like that's not enough threat to deter the squad of Soup as they're going to move in, and the Phantasonian is going to get cast up, but that Death Ward doing work. Gets stunned up is the Witch Doctor Bryn. Going to get mech'd up though, and all that damage is pretty much negated. Mad Dog gets netted up as well, as they do get this T1 tower. Water, that is, able to continue pushing here.
You did a good
Not
job of
choosing
not
to,
chasing
though.
too far and going all the way to the tier 2.
They're going for Roche,
Just play
it
the
looks like.
objective.
Now, why not when you have Tombstone? Looks like no, never mind, they changed their mind, no mana. So, they will just go ahead and back up. But yeah, they did get a tower, they got kills, they got a lot out of that, and they didn't lose anything. Except for cooldowns. And some of the cooldowns are already back up, such as Tombstone and Flesh Golem.
They did hit 11 on Naga, so, but of course, Sleep is still on cooldown for another 100 seconds. And
Fortify
Lone
is
Druid
up.
did pick up the relic.
They will use it. They will throw down the Tombstone as well. Net is there, and it looks like Derp is able to steal the Tombstone, which means there's a counter Tombstone. And in a Tomb v Tomb fight, really comes down to who clears out the Tomb first, and it looks like Rubik's Tombstone is going to go down first, as Yugi is getting doomed up, not able to get the second split, but it's not even off cooldown anymore. Mad Dog is going to sacrifice himself for that Aegis to slow down all of the Dire side, but with Derp falling, Mad Dog is caught between 5 heroes and his side of the river, and is definitely going to fall as well. Water putting another 3 another 3 kills on their side of the board as D2 Sheriff and Squad move into Roche to secure another objective advantage.
Yeah, that didn't go the best for Dignitas or Soup, whatever you want to refer to them. But they did manage to kill the tier 1 mid with the familiars while that was all going on. So they did get the last hit there, stunning up on as they're doing Roshan here, but it's not. Just a little bit of harass. Just saying, you know what, we know.
Yeah, and Roche is I think Roche is really big in this game, because if you put it on Naga, she's not going to die that next death. But, you know what? Ritsu already has the Radiance before the Naga, before anything else, and now Yugi going to run in, gets the split off. The cask is bouncing around. Mu will get that Aegis, and it looks like they're going to want to continue to fight as Rubik did steal something, and it's the Witch Doctor heal to help keep his team alive, but Bryn getting chased up by Visage will actually survive. The first person to fall is actually going to be in the Roche pit, and that's the Undying, as the Dire side is actually dropping really low. Mu should be the second to fall, but that's the Aegis. Third will be Ohm, as also Michael is running away. The stun does clean up Ohm. Michael dropping down to 500 HP, getting chipped away by that Radiance. Right clicks, and Mu does get the sleep off. And they will be able to get out of that fight with only 3 losses, one being the Aegis, but it, don't know what to say, guys, as looks like even though they had the Aegis, great timing of a fight coming out of Soup, and that Radiance timing from Lone Druid is so clutch right now.
Yeah, absolutely. This Naga needs to get there. Still 1,000 away from Relic. That's quite a ways away. There's another tower's gonna fall here. Lone Druid just really showing, starting to have an impact on this game.
And when you leave a Lone Druid to farm, I think one thing, I am by no means a Lone Druid expert, but I love the hero, so I've studied the hell out of it. One thing that's awesome about a Lone Druid is once he gets to a base level of farm, so like that Midas or boots on both of his heroes, he can farm a lane really quick because of his Baron hero, and he can focus down creeps and push it out, etc. But the other thing that is really worth noting is that he can easily dip into the jungle and farm the lane without having to move too far, because you can use the ability of the tether distance between your hero and your bear being able to attack to position your hero to quickly farm a jungle camp, and then just move your bear and hero very quickly into the lane. And your hero doesn't have to move far because your bear can farm the camp while your hero is closer to the lane. So you can see that effect as the Radiance was much quicker out of Ritsu, even though he was only at 18 CS 7 minutes into this game.
Well, he's now the top farmer in the game, so...
Yeah, beating a Midas Doom.
Well, he's got a Midas himself, but yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have Devour, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't have double Midas. No, he does not.
He also is the highest net worth now. Leading by about 1,000, but... you know, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, Lone Druid needs quite a bit
AC.
more items.
Doom went AC instead of Shiva's, Niz. How do you feel about this? Normally, we see the Shivas 9 times out of 10 in this situation.
I mean, it's fine. There's a lot of physical damage coming out of this team.
Yeah, okay.
Even the familiars.
That's actually a really good point.
I don't really see a problem with it.
Fair enough. I definitely was a little bit on the opposite boat, but your simple logic has convinced me as it is 100% true, and sometimes the simple logic is the best logic, and we'll see what water can do to go ahead and win this game, as of course they are slightly on the back foot. If we go to the golden experience graphs, it has been a water-sided game for the most part. But this is again where me and Niz were talking about last game. Quantitatively speaking, water is ahead, but qualitatively, the Lone Druid already having the Midas and being this far ahead presents a major problem as this game goes forward. So we'll see if water can overcome that disadvantage and get back into this game.
I think they can. I don't think this game is... I mean, the net worth is almost even now. I think one of the big
Ags 23 minutes.
Is once Moo finishes this Radiance. He has picked up the Relic, but once he finishes the Radiance, then we're going to see what starts happening with the map. You know, who starts winning this war between Lone Druid and Naga when it comes to pushing? I'm pretty sure Naga wins that, but you know, the team is going to have to come into that. It's not just going to be those two heroes.
Yeah,
and we're going to start to see a little bit of a shift in terms of map control, and certain objectives we could see to fall. Like I think there's definitely some towers that are going to fall relatively soon. Obviously, the free towers, or generally referred to as free towers, the top tier 2 for on the Radiant side, and the top or in the bottom tier 2 is less free, but you still can sometimes get away with it pretty easily. So those are ones that you look to obviously split and put pressure in other areas, and then you know, Lone Druid will go and pick that up or something like that, or Naga will just chip away at one. But that will definitely start happening in probably the next 5 minutes or so.
I completely agree with you there, Niz. One thing I'd like to add to your whole point about the Naga versus Lone Druid is as the game goes farther and farther, Naga gets better at this, but as it stands, once she picks up a Radiance, Lone Druid is the better team fighter. And so Lone Druid can do more for his team now with the Radiance than Naga can. So I think it's kind of on the Lone Druid to make more happen right now and get a lot out of his Radiance. He did just pick up a Vlad's though, which is pretty big deal to be fair. And I believe that was his Vlad's, right? No, it wasn't. Whose Vlad's was that? Whose Vlad's?
Undying.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Undying. Apparently, guys, Dota Raptors thinks Undying's portrait looks like Lone Druid.
Close.
Yeah, I'm just having between them right now, guys, to prove how intelligent I am at this game and life.
But I have to somewhat agree with you. I think most of the time, Lone Druid can contribute more in a team fight than Naga at this kind of stage in the game. But when you put the Undying and the Tombstone into play, I think the Naga has a lot of team fight potential right now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay.
So I don't think that can be underestimated, because Tombstone is just really, really strong.
Well,
and especially coming out of a sleep, it has to be focused. Like, it generally has to be focused, but
with 5 zombies already piled up.
Yeah.
Well, they are going to smoke up the side of Soup, that is, as they want to look to put a bigger notch into this game. Yugi is just going to blink forward and immediately pop that split. Mad Dog blinking over onto Ohm. They want to try to focus him down before he's able to get that Doom. And they do get the Ice Armor, but the re-initiation with the song might be enough to get Ohm out alive. And on the backsides, we do have the Witch Doctor throwing that Death Ward onto Ritsu, taking a ton of damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Bryn is the first casualty of this game. The second will be the Wraith King, but of course that is an Aegis for his first life. Michael getting focused out, already dropping really low. D2 Sheriff going to be the third casualty of this fight, as multiple heroes are getting chased down on the Dire side. Ritsu is not done yet, as Moo is going to get cleaned up. Radiance versus Radiance, but the Bear wins, as he's just much bigger and tankier right now.
Bear did so much work that fight. He was just running around chopping people down.
That's Lone Druid, my friend. I love this hero when he is ahead. When he is behind, he is one of the biggest dead weights you will ever carry in a game. But when your Lone Druid is ahead, how do you kill it, right? Because you can't focus the Bear right now. They don't have the means to. But if you focus the hero, you're letting a Radiance Bear entangle you and kill you. Hard life for their Dire side right now.
They're just a scary team, because they run at you and you don't feel like you can kill any of them or even focus any of them. like you said, the bear just does so much damage, and it has to be dealt with. But so does the Wraith King. So does Yugi. Jumping in and clapping and then splitting. Like there's just so much pressure coming out. And of course, in the back, then you have Fanasoyan just kind of throwing out the soul assumptions over and over and over again. So he has to be dealt with.
900 from Ags, and that's another set of summons that are absolutely terrifying on top of a Radiant Spare.
And he's been on point with the familiar stuns this game too.
No, definitely, and that's something I haven't really pointed out, and I wish I would have, because as a Visage player, it feels good when you're on point and you're doing those stuns where you need to, when you need to. But he's also been doing a very good job split pushing with the birds. Last game, I think it was much more highlighted that Fanasoyan understands the split pushing style of Visage, but I definitely think this game highlights that he understands the pushing side of it and fighting side of it very well as well.
He was playing it a much more pushing oriented rather than farming oriented. So he's not playing like Aoi. He's using it for the push potential, not so much the farming. Obviously, farming comes with that to some extent, but he was much more concerned about pushing the lanes and putting pressure on towers rather than farming for maximum gold.
I can definitely agree with that. With that though, Nez, the state of the game definitely numerically in favor of Souk now. So I guess the question becomes, Niz, how far behind do you think Water is? And how hard do you think it is going to be for them to come back in this game?
Well, obviously the game has taken a very big swing in favor of Souk or Dignitas. However, you do have the Naga online with the Radiance. It's just a matter of how much Mu can do.
He is already cutting the creep wave they're pushing with, and that's a very good tactic to use. But
a lot of people consider Naga one of the hardest heroes to deal with when she gets her Radiance up and is able to split push all over the place.
Yeah, but if you lose it,
you have to wait and see.
They're losing all their outer towers right now. They're down to one more tower, and that's going to really limit the amount of pressure that this Naga Siren can push out. And in fact, they're just going to go straight for high ground here, Niz. It looks like, no, never mind. They are going to go ahead and back out for now. And while actually in the mid lane, it looks like Brewmaster Yugi wants to continue pressuring, as he does have that clap access on the Earth Spirit, but it doesn't look like he's going to use it, as he is on the retreat now. Multiple heroes. You hear our D2 Sheriff wants to help as well, but he gets thrown up into the air. Clap from the Earth Spirit will slow down their chase, as Yugi is just going to back up here and group up with the rest of his team as they are setting up to push for this top lane. And Visage, aka Fanasoyan, does pick up the final pieces for that Ags, meaning he does have access to both a resummon and Aghanims, aka 3 familiars.
Ritsu TP'd in to defend the top tower, and then he started chasing down Michael. And eventually Michael realized, okay, I just have to TP out of here. And he just TP'd while the bear was swinging away. 4 swings, no entangle.
Well, and with that pseudo-random, it's definitely a higher chance. But Dire, Water making a gutsy call here, and I think this is the kind of call you need to make. I think that's what you were about to point out.
It was good. Like, I don't know how else to expand on that besides it was good. They knew that they drew the Lone Druid top, and there was a little bit more of a rotation towards the top.
Well, they're just going to lose their racks during all of this. The sleep goes off. Sorry to cut you off, Niz, but this game has just turned into a razor edge. If they lose this fight, the game is over for Water, as the racks is just getting pounded down 100 HP every swing of that bear, as it looks like the first one to die is going to be Bren before he even gets that death ward off. Mag is just tanking the damage while the bear is chunking away at buildings. The Aegis pop slowing down all of the heroes. Now Ritsu finally going to get stunned up by a really good cask, and now the death ward. But they trade the Rubik and the Lone Druid for racks. I mean, the question is it enough against a Radiance Naga?
When I say it was a good move, I say it was a good move because they drew the team to the top lane, and then, immediately dropped back and went to Roche. However, I didn't check TPs and stuff like that, so you had Undying without a TP and Doom without a TP. So you just lost racks. And yeah, you got a couple kills, but you're down racks. You keep going for the courier, doesn't get it, it's left with about 16 or so HP, but he will TP out.
Very close to dying there, and that's definitely a tide turner, but I don't think the tides are really going to be in favor of Water unless they can get control of this game. And I think you put it very well. They tried to do something by forcing, but by forcing the rotation of the Lone Druid, getting that Roche, and that was a very excellent play, but it really sucks when your cheeky, cute play to try to get back into the game just gets beat down by a like brute force play. Like, oh, you forced us to rotate around? That's fine. We'll be in this lane. We're going to fight you. And if you can't take us, you're going to lose racks. And it's really hard when you're in that situation as the dire side, because those intelligent plays are what you need, but when the other team can just brute force you, it becomes a lot harder to make those cheeky plays.
Oh.
Yeah, smoke up by Water as they definitely are feeling the heat in this game, as they're going to go immediately into the Radiant side jungle, and there's a lot of heroes for them to have access to kill here. See how many of them will die here as the smoke does get revealed. D2 Sheriff runs right into Fan of Sonian, and the Dire Courier does die. Not entirely sure where that happens, but Fan of Sonian is going to get absolutely obliterated as he is surrounded by the Dire side. But in the meantime, we're going to see Lone Druid actually just bots up into the base of the Dire side. He does have that recall, I believe, but the bear is actually dead right now. No, it isn't. I lied. Does recall that in. Will pop that battle cry, and of course every hit is about 100 damage onto that tower, already down to 700 HP as the bear is attempting to run. Ritsu himself trying to run as he wants to try to get away, but he'll be cleaned up again. And if they just keep throwing away kills like that, that one Rax is going to start to mean less and less until all of a sudden it means nothing.
The rat is real though. They have no interest in fighting. They just want to rat. And they got half a tier 3. But that's definitely not worth a Lone Druid.
Yeah. I mean, a tier 3.5 plus 2 racks is definitely worth 1 Lone Druid life, but not 2. And if it becomes 3, then 4, it just really starts to hurt a Lone Druid, especially because he went for bots after his AC, and so he doesn't have a lot of extra gold sitting around to build up his next major item. So if he gets really far behind right now, he's going to kind of peter out at what he has currently. But that being said, it is a 12k net worth advantage, but it was a 7,500 experience advantage that has now turned into close to a 0, as Water has been able to do a really good job cleaning up these base defenses in the last few minutes.
I think one of the good things to note is that difference isn't increasing. You know, we saw a little bit of a dip down recently, but that's obviously from the 2 kills that they just picked up with that Lone Druid push in the middle lane. But they've kind of stopped the bleeding. Unfortunately, they're now 12k behind. But
oh, and actually, Naga, does get the kill on the Rebek, and that's very important because your supports are starving. And actually, no, Witch Doctor as a BKB is not starving too bad. Obviously, you'd be like, oh, well, you know, Raptors, if they were winning, they'd have Aghanims on them. But when you're down in a 35-minute game and it's going like this bad, it's not going bad in the kill board. Oh, Aegis does get popped in the top lane. His Moo is there with the song, and they might be able to actually turn this around on the Lone Druid. They have access to the Doom. They will throw it on Amon as well as the net. But Fan of Sonin is here to help try to turn this around. BKB pop from Doom as they want to continue to fight this. The cast does bounce between the Bear and Lone Druid, and now it's 3 deaths as the ownage is sounded in favor of Water. But Yugi might be able to turn that around as D2 Sheriff is caught out in the mid lane, but unless he gets multiple crits in a row, Undying will TP out. Water able to secure 3. Total of 5 unanswered kills. 3 of them, of course, on the Lone Druid.
This Lone Druid just keeps getting punished. He unfortunately didn't get any, from what I saw, any interangles at all.
He did before the BKB, but it's not enough when there's 3 heroes around you. That's why, honestly, why Ohm is half HP, but this tower is going to fall, and actually they're going to... No, that was Derp force staffing himself out in that situation. He's getting chased down by the illusions here. Maybe the Inaga might try to kill him here, but I don't think they will be able to. Mechanism will heal him up, keeping him in some fighting shape to help get some experience from that pushed out wave. But, you know, I don't really know what to say about this game right now, Niz. It feels really even, but not. And I know that sounds really stupid because it's completely contradictory statements, but the Lone Druid feels really far ahead, but with the way they've been playing it recently, I feel like it's becoming a very even game very quick.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I talked a little bit about what's going to happen once Naga gets her Radiance and starts starting to push out the lanes, and what's going to happen with map control. And recently we've seen Lone Druid just kind of overextending himself, trying to do a little bit too much, trying to get a little too far out there, and they've picked him off a few times. And that's partly in effect to just the Naga being able to control the lanes and get them out there and just kind of overpower the Lone Druid to some extent.
And I mean, yeah, with multiple radii rather than a single radiance, she is able to do a lot more with that burn damage. But Yugi has picked up a basher, or sorry, Ritsu, sorry, now has picked up a basher onto his bear. Makes that bear a lot more threatening in this next fight. The question is, do you think Soup wants to group up now, or do you think they're just waiting for the next Aegis? Do you think this game is going to be a fight around the Aegis, or do you think this game could break out any minute?
I don't think they're in a rush to try and push. I don't think they think that they're on a timer. However, the way that the game has been going in the last 10 minutes or so hasn't been the most positive thing for them.
Yeah, they've lost 6k net worth advantage.
But I think a lot of that could just be attributed to being just a little overzealous and just trying to get a little bit too much.
Well, middle lane. Looks like there's going to be a relatively big fight breaking out, as they do have the Song after the split, which means they'll be able to focus down the Brewlings, and Brewmaster is already down. Of course, actually no, that Earth Spirit able to get the invis and able to escape. Mad Dog will be the first one to fall on the Radiant side. That Rord is doing work as Ritsu takes 700 HP as soon as he runs in there, and it looks like Brewmaster will actually die before the end of the split. No! He does get out into the next split, but I don't think it really matters because he will be cleaned up anyways. The question is, do they get enough on the other side? The Doom on to the Viper, as it was stolen by the Rubik. Does allow them to clean up the Viper, but Ritsu is still alive. But Naga is as well, which means the pressure could continue from them if they choose to, and they do, as they're just going to march down middle lane. Of course, there is that Lone Druid Bear to help stall things out, but they could just net it like they did and just focus it down. And yeah, there's no way they're going to be able to keep that bear alive. Does he have a resummon? No, he doesn't.
No, that was the resummon.
Oh, and actually Mad Dog might die as well, and all of the sudden, a game looking 100% in the favor of Soup in just a few small, insequential plays between team fights. And, you know, giving away your bear, stuff like that, dying multiple times trying to split push. Soup is on the back foot, my friend. Soup is on going to be in the background, in the back foot, as they will give up the middle tower, but might be able to get out alive. There's no bash. I forgot. The bear is dead. All of the bash, the tangles, they're on the bear, and they will get out alive. But yeah, they did lose the Naga. They did lose the Undying at the end of that. But they did secure a tower, and what a game, Niz. What a game. I really don't know how to call this.
Mad Dog fed up with all the TPing and stuff. He buys a basher of his own. Says, you know what, if the bear's not going to do it, I'm going to do it.
If my Wraith Fire Blast isn't enough, I want to be able to stun when I'm right-clicking. And actually, that's a really smart decision, too, because, you know what? Both of them can build into Abyssal Blades, and you know what's actually really terrifying is when Lone Druid has Abyssal on his main and Basher on his bear. Double bash, double chance to proc. You can always also go MKB or double MKB, double Basher for the maximum mini bash procs. Kind of hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the amount of farm to get there is kind of insane. It's double his net worth right now. So we'd be looking at another 20 minutes of gameplay at least to see that kind of farm come out of him. As we do see him chasing down this Naga Illusion. But the Naga Illusion's going to push out this bottom wave. Push out maybe even another wave. Of course, the Radiant Bear is here to help slow this down. But Roche is up, and guess who's in the fight? The pit first. It would be Water. And with the DD on Moo, they might be able to get this Roche before the Radiant side even notices. And this is, of course, the third Roshan of the game, so we do have a Cheese going over to somebody and Aegis to another. Cheese going to Naga, Aegis going to Viper. No, yes.
Yep.
I'm correct. And a Blade of Alacrity casually on the ground. 1,000 gold, Niz. This is one rich game if you can throw 1,000 gold on the ground. Of course, that will be
picked up. Flying in. It wasn't that risky.
Yeah, but it is definitely a rich situation when you drop 1,000 gold item to pick up a Cheese. Lots of money in this game. Two heroes in the top lane for Soup, though I don't think they're at too much risk, as Ohm and Witch Doctor, aka Bren, are not in complete awareness of their situation or of their positioning. Of course, Lone Druid doing his own rat here in the bottom lane. Well, Niz, what a game. What are your thoughts so far on the current state of the game, and where do you think we're gonna be going for the rest of this game? Like,
we're going straight down to even net worth. That's where we're headed.
ooh, we are. Now, an even game. Who does that favor, in your opinion?
I mean, you have to side with the net worth chart. I think it's definitely starting. Well, it has been leaning towards water, and I think there was a couple key moments that led to that. The pickoffs of Lone Druid, and the pushing of the tier tower and the sequence that led up to that. Tier 2 mid, sorry. I think that obviously helped sway it towards water, but I think right now water's on a huge momentum swing, and they're gonna be tough to stop. But Wraith King's 2400. I imagine he's going for Abyssal. Brewmaster 2400 as well. Lone Druid's gonna get like a new item every week.
MKB, I'm pretty sure is what he's going for. I don't really think you pick up crit on Spirit Bear, and that's really all that Demon Edge builds into. MKB is nice, crit is nice, and God, what's the other item it builds into? DR, of course. I was like, there's one other item it builds into to Raptors. But there's no way he's going for a DR. Definitely going for that MKB in this situation.
Yeah, I think it's an MKB as well. But yeah, this game is just very stalematey at the moment. Neither team really trying to take a risk. Once again, I think both teams just kind of feel relatively comfortable or scared. It's hard to tell. I think it's more comfortable. I think Dignitas or Soup just realized, we've been throwing away our lead. We just need to calm down, and we need to stop getting picked off all over the place. It looks like we may actually have a little bit of action. There's a path through the jungle has been drawn out, and water has smoked up to move there.
And they do have the Naga illusions to push out while this is going on. They will actually spot out the bear. And it looks like they're just going to use this smoking to kill the bear. And I don't think that's an entirely bad decision. One of the ways that you can beat a Lone Druid is by just forcing him to resummon the bear, kill the bear, and then not have it resummon for a long period of time.
I mean, it's practically a hero kill.
Yeah, it is, especially with the golden experience you get. Not the experience really anymore, but definitely the gold. It looks like we actually might be in...
Bit of a trade.
Niz, are we going to finish this game with a base trade?
Lone Druid doesn't have a TP.
Mad Dog says no.
Oh, he does. He has boots travel. What the hell am I talking about?
Yeah, and White is going to be... Sorry, Teal is going to be TPing in as well as Yugi. Mad Dog initiating. Yugi as well does just immediately go in. No clap. Mad Dog should be the first one to fall as Bryn. Is the first one to fall from water. He does buy back immediately as they want to try to defend up in the middle lane, as I will go over to that action. That Rax is going down quick, but Ritsu might fall before he is able to actually get the full Rax, and now Viper is going to fall in this bottom lane. Ohm getting chased out by two different heroes, but with this Aegis popping, I think Michael could turn this around with Ohm. They don't have any backup from the rest of their team. Ohm's trying to fight it out. He does have that TP. 1 second left, and he gets out. 250 HP left before he was able, or was actually going to fall. Again, Lone Druid dies for nothing.
Yeah, Mu is actually one of the first heroes to arrive on the scene in the middle lane, and he just popped the sleep, walked Ritsu down, and a couple other TPs came down, and he was just dead to rights at that point. He had no chance of coming out of that alive. And Water walks away with another advantage.
A decently big one, too, considering that, yeah, they lost the T3, but with the way that Soup is playing, they are now limiting their options. And like you said before, they felt like they were rushing it. Well, it might actually be the end of it right now, as it looks like the Dire wants to just end this game right now. Double Shiva's getting popped up by both the Doom and the Yugi, as we do see the cast bounce in between. Now the Tombstone is up, and Yugi is probably going to fall. He does have access to buyback, but he doesn't have access to split, so we won't see the buyback for another 10 seconds as they move up onto the high ground. Bren and Doom are just standing strong in the front as they want to clean this up. It looks like Water's going to set forward the illusions. The Rax taking a ton of damage. Lone Druid is back up with a bear, just resummoned, and a fresh MKB. We'll see how this fight breaks down. Mad Dog is running forward, will not be able to blink because of that Radiance. Ohm taking a ton of damage from the Entangle. Looks like the first one to fall is the Wraith King ultimate, and now they pop that Zog with the Death Ward, dealing quite a bit of damage, bouncing between. Of course, that's an Ag's Death Ward, but it does get cancelled. Mad Dog is the second to fall, does buy back right now. Ohm dropping low with his teammate Bren. Bren will fall, and so will Michael. As in the background, we see the Wraith King just going to town. Ohm not yet to fall, as Moo and him are trying to fight it out. Moo will pop that cheese, but there's just maybe too much tank on the side of Soup. As they clean up this push, all 5 heroes from the Dire side will eventually fall, as they are able to defend their racks. No casualties of the racks, but they did lose many important things to continue pushing, yet they decide to anyways.
Now they actually lost the bear in the middle of all that, and Lone Joe's is sitting there wailing away on Doom with his hero in bear form.
Dealing that awesome 120 damage.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the bear even died to. Obviously they focused it at some point. I didn't see that. But, yeah, the bear looked like it fell fairly early in the fight, but they still managed to come out ahead.
The question is, will they get the second Rax? Moo does buy back as well as Undying, and they're just going to go ahead and blink away with that. And that's a nice way to take a one fight and get a little bit more out of it. However, Mad Dog might be caught out here, and remember, he did buy back, so they could decide to turn this and immediately push down the middle lane themselves. There goes the Aegis pop. The second one should be happening, as of course they have the AoE damage to stop Mad Dog from being able to TP. Attempts to stun on one of the Naga illusions, hoping it was Moo, but of course none of them are. Middle racks might go down, range racks that is, as the creeps do come back around. T4 is down, and Dire's base is a little bit in shambles, Niz, as they have lost many important structures, whereas the Radiant side really has a lot more to work with.
Yeah, unfortunately that's the downside to losing a tier 3, especially against like a Visage who can just fly his birds, and he can always chip away at range racks anyways, but yeah, I don't know at what point he can actually push down melee racks alone, but he can definitely put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, and he is going to just send in the birds right now with the top creeps coming in. However, that is a mid melee rack, so it will heal up in time. Moo does have access to that bots any second, and it looks like he might just back up and get ready to TP into this lane. Those Visage birds just being as annoying as possible, but to be entirely fair, I don't think they're going to get this Rax anytime soon. They will actually just get cleaned up by the Naga Siren, giving her 300 gold, but she's nowhere near her team, who is up on the other side of the map, and if, you know, Soup catches them out, that could be the game right there.
She does have travels. I think one of the more important parts is the fact that she's sitting on 900 gold, or 900 HP.
Yeah, she doesn't. I think she's going to pick up the heart and then TP in, as they are going to start the siege of this Rax. Of course, Wraith King is currently down. Lift goes out onto Ohm, as well as the Soul Assumption onto Undying. Of course, the Lift stunning him, but now they have the Tombstone in the background to help them out. There is the Viper Strike onto Spirit Bear, dealing quite a bit of damage, dropping him down to about 1,000 HP. The blink forward from Yugi and the Shivas, as we don't even see the Naga joining the fight yet, but here she comes, as Michael is going to attempt the TP out with BKB. I'm not entirely sure where he TP'd. Looks like just to actually get back to the base, so Naga is not going to have any backup here. And when this song ends, the entire team will be able to wrap around, and Moo goes down. And remember, Moo bought a heart, does not have buyback. It is a 4-on-5 situation. This is a power play scenario for the Radiant side. Can they capitalize on it?
Moo's buyback's actually on cooldown for another 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not that big of a deal. The only hero that does have buyback on water side is Doom.
Does he have enough even if he dies? Oh, definitely enough. But here we go, Niz. It looks like this is probably going to be the end of the game. As Pair, I keep saying Pair, I think Soup. Now Michael going to get jumped on by said Soup. There's the Death Ward bouncing around, dealing a ton of damage. Derp Derp will fall. Now Ritsu taking a ton, but they're just going for the Megas. That's all that matters. As the water side wants to stop this from happening, but I don't think it will. Mega creeps are gained. 4 heroes are down on the Dire side, and yeah, Ohm is fighting and trying to live, but he's not going to clean up Mad Dog, and GG comes out from Yugi.
GG, well played.
What a game. Great final. And Niz, what are your thoughts on that game?
7.5 more minutes and I was gone.
Yeah, 7.5 more minutes and you guys would have had to kick Niz out. And yeah, but what do you think about that game, Niz?
That was a fun game. There was a lot of back and forth. You know, it felt a little drawn out at times, but it was good. It went up and down, and it's interesting to see those different timings come on. I think that was actually a very, very good game to demonstrate different timings in Dota 2 in the sense that, you've got when Lone Druid came online with his Radiance and what he could do and his influence on the map. And then once Naga finished hers, she wasn't immediate. She didn't have an immediate presence with pushing and controlling the map and gaining map control. But as she started piling items on, definitely after she had Travels, Radiance, and even her Manta, that's when she really started taking control of the map and really putting a lot of pressure. And we saw it. It resulted in Lone Druid getting picked off a few times, and a couple other heroes getting picked off in time. And they actually crawled back from, I believe it was a 14k, or it was either 14 or 12k deficit, and drew it all back to even. I'm not sure what it was in the end, but it didn't matter. Dignitas, aka Soup, still managed to pull out the win. But it was a good one. It was a fun tournament to cast.
Yeah, it definitely was, and of course, Niz, it's always fun when I'm able to cast it with you, so thank you so much for sitting through the entire day with me, as always. But guys, thank you so much for all of you who stuck out to the end. Of course, this is the end, as they did pick up that $100. Soup will walk away as the champions, and we will walk away tonight and go ahead and get some rest. If you guys enjoyed this cast, though, you can always follow Twitch TV/DotaRaptors, where the live cast will happen. If you want to watch these casts or videos on your own time, you can go to youtube.com/DotaRaptors, where all of the information, or all of the VODs are uploaded. And of course, if you enjoy Niz, show him some love as well, and check out his social media outlets, all at /Nizcast, but especially his Twitter, which is at Nizcast, and you guys can get information about the matches we're going to be watching from him. But with that, guys, we're done. We'll see you on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Thursday Semi-Pro Cup Series. But thank you again for watching, and we will see you guys in our future casts.
Good night.